Vander Zanden. She is our final speaker talking to us about mindfulness. She is a certified life and mindset coach, as well as an EFT and mindfulness practitioner. Brenda specializes in helping women build resilience after personal or professional setback. Her mission is to help women use the 3 M's: mindset, mindfulness, and manifestation to work through fear, failure, so that they can reconnect with their inner strength and trust their voice enough to do it anyway. To go after the imperfect things, the scary things, all the fulfilling things that are waiting for you on the other side of your current situation. Thank you so much, Brenda, for joining us. I tried to unmute you. There you go.
Yes.
And go right ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And thank you to Angela, Madhu, and Ramona for inviting me to be here tonight as one of the guest speakers. So yes, as Blair said, my name is Brenda Vander Zanden. And out of all the modalities that she listed, mindfulness, meditation, EFT, I would say the one that's closest to my heart is mindfulness. And there's a reason for that. About 4 years ago, actually 4 years ago and a little bit, my twins were born, and I ended up having birth trauma as a result of the events leading up to the birth, and then their resulting stay in the NICU for a month afterwards. And it was just a lot of depression. I didn't know what it was called at the time. I just knew that something was off, and I couldn't figure it out. And I went to see my therapist, I went to see my doctor, and every time I'd go within the first year, it was always, no, you don't have postpartum depression, you don't have postpartum blues, so maybe it's just the adjustment period. Give yourself some time. But I knew that something was off, so I continued just asking questions, and every time I would go, it was always, no, you don't check all the boxes, you're okay, just give it some time. Until finally, I spoke to someone who was friends with a social worker, and she was like, well, maybe you should go and see her because she specializes in postpartum depression and other, I guess, areas or specializations pertaining to after women give birth, the postpartum period. So I went to see her, and I told her that these are the symptoms I've been having, flashbacks. If I see commercials about babies or diapers or anything like that, it would often bring me to tears. We finally realized that I had PTSD, which it threw me off because at least finally I had a label and a title for what I had and what I knew was happening to me. But at the same time, it took me almost 18 months to have that diagnosed. And it changed me for sure. But during that process, I knew that I still wanted to get myself out of that deep, dark hole that I was in. And I didn't know exactly how to do it. But what I found so helpful was just the opportunity to start talking, to share my story, and to give all of the details around everything that happened and that had transpired before my twins were born and even afterwards. Because I think a lot of times we pull ourselves back and we think that we're doing other people a favor by keeping some of the details of our story to us and not sharing everything. But I found that was hurting myself because there was a lot that I still felt like I had to share and I wanted to say. So when I finally got the opportunity to do that, I found that it was a healing process for me. I started to feel as though that muscle, that voice that I had was strengthened again. And it's almost like when your muscle is atrophied, like if you have a cast on your arm for at least a month or so, your muscles get smaller, everything is weaker. But that's what I felt about my voice. And then when I started sharing all of the details and talking about everything around it, then I started to feel stronger. And every time I shared, I got that much stronger. I felt that much more confident about myself. And the mindfulness piece is something that my therapist had suggested to me because it helped me to see that things were not as bad in the moment, in the present moment. I was able to detach myself from all of the fear and the anxiety that I had about the past situations and also the what ifs about the future possibilities. I had no idea what the future was going to look like, but I was so concerned about it. And I was concerned about everything else that I could not control. But with mindfulness, it helped me to just stay present in the moment, understanding that right here in this moment, at what time is it? 9:03 p.m., that things are not as bad as perhaps I was feeling. And I was able to detach from the pain, the disappointment, and all of the fear and all of the other emotions that I was carrying with me. So mindfulness is something that I really incorporate in my coaching practice today, because I want my clients to understand that they have the power to make their choices about how they want the rest of their story to look like. Of course, again, we don't know what the future is going to look like, but in that moment, that's when we have the most power. We can use our voice and we can make decisions that are within our control. So that's why mindfulness is a huge piece for me. And I'm really honored to be able to be one of the mindfulness coaches in this program and this agency. So thank you for that. But what I also wanted to say, and I'm hoping that you'll be willing to do so, is I wanted to invite you to join me in a little mindfulness practice that I like to share with my clients. So if you're willing, just to sit where you are, keep your feet flat on the floor, and I invite you to close your eyes. And if you don't feel comfortable to do that, just gaze downwards towards the tip of your nose. And I want you to breathe in through your nose, feeling the full expansion of your lungs and your belly, and then exhale through the mouth. Breathing in one more time. Expand and exhale, release any stress, any tension that you might be feeling. And do that again one more time. Inhale and exhale. And with your eyes closed or gazing downwards, just see in your mind's eye a picture of a square. And we're going to start at the top left-hand corner. We're going to breathe in for 4 counts. So breathing in, and we're going to hold our breath for 4 seconds. And exhale down as we move down the right side of the square. Hold your breath for 4 seconds at that point. Inhale again as you move along the bottom part of the square. Hold your breath at the corner. And exhale as you move up the side of the square. And then release. So I invite you to open your eyes. So that is just a quick technique. Within 5 minutes, you can do that when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling a little bit nervous, but that's something I often like to use with my clients. So there are a lot of other techniques that I like to use with my clients, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to be able to share that along with many others with the clients that I'll be working with. So thank you for the opportunity to share. And yes, I hope you guys have a wonderful night.